Welcome back to Renegade GCM. Today we have another gameplay video with Red Sanji and the white-haired pirates versus Dofi. Opponent choosing to go first. So they're going to play out their buggy, reordering the top three cards of their deck. I believe it's three. So we have two of the 2K Sanjis, a 2000 counter Jozu, a Whitebeard Searcher Izo, and a 5-drop Porcus the Ace. So opponent passes back to us. We have two Dawn. We're going to use a search event here, looking for a Whitebeard pirate. We have plenty of options here. We're going to grab that 5-drop double strike ace, and we're going to deploy the other searcher. Just grabbing a big body for the next couple turns. So this ace has double attack. It doesn't have counter, but dropping this down and even throwing like one Dawn on it, making it a 7k double attack with rush. A lot of decks aren't ready for this. And I think this card is the MVP of this deck. So Sanji's an interesting leader where he doesn't really want to deal with on plays because he wants to be able to give his characters coming down rush, which is great into the Blackbeard meta because Blackbeard don't want you playing on play. So Sanji's taking advantage of that by playing just big vanilla bodies. So Dopey swung in. We just countered with a 1000 counter with the ace. They're going to play their 2-drop Teach, which allows them to put 2 Rested Dawn onto their leader and then put a card from their hand atop their deck. But they do play out their Sengoku Searcher, getting a Boa Hancock from starter deck 17. Passing back to us, we have 4 Dawn now. We really can't play the ace yet. So we're just going to put 3 on our Izo and go 5. They only got 4 cards in hand, so they're going to have to use up some cards or take a life here. And then we have a 6k swing as well. So it looks like they took the hit. We're going to attach that last Dawn to our Sanji, go 6 and a 5. See if they'll give us up a 2k for this. So it looks like they took that hit as well. So I have a couple different variants of Sanji up right now on the channel. I have another one I'm working on. And there's a lot of gameplay videos that I can't upload because these games are so fast. Like Sanji is super fast into the meta. Like I've had games that are like 2 minutes and then the match is over, and it's like. So I'm really enjoying Sanji. I'm enjoying the different variants I'm trying with them. Like there's a traditional Sanji build which runs like one attacking abilities like Pell and all that. But trying to go like tribal. I did the red hair pirates version, which I think is probably my favorite. This is the white beard pirate one. And then I also have another one in the works right now that I'll be bringing a deck tech and gameplay video probably in the next week or so. So they're going to go 2 with their buggy into our Izo. The Izo did its job. It found us a card and it swung. So here they're going to go 6 and a 5. That's a 2k. We should give it to them. So they play their. Okay, now they play Jinbei, and then getting their Edward Weevil drawing on a card. They are starting to amass a board now. So they don't have any blockers. So we're going to attack 5 into the buggy, just trying to clear some stuff off. Because the thing with Dopey, you gotta maintain board control, or else they're going to take the game over. So you gotta focus on their board just as much as their life. So here we're going to deploy our big boy 6-drop 8k Thatch, giving it rush, and going into 8 and a 5 into their life. See if they'll give us a couple cards out of hand for this, or their life. Either one works. Because even if they spend their turn removing the Thatch, we can play big bodies every turn. So it looks like they took that hit, and we're just going to pass it back. They're not really. Looks like they haven't really utilized their Marshall D Teach effect much, where they can cheat cards on top of their deck. So it's interesting to see why they haven't done that. Maybe they don't want this stuff coming in rested, so they're trying to just play out of hand. So they're gonna go 5 and a 5 here. 5 into our life. So we're going to use the 1K blocker just to get it out. Here's 6 and a 5. That's a 2K. And now if they want to swing the other two bodies, they're going to have to use their Dawn to get up there. So here they're going to attach 1 to Dofi, 2. So it looks like they may be trying to use leader effect here at some point. So the only problem with Teach is it only gives rested Dawn. And the opponent hasn't used any, but now they do. They're going to play a Draco Mihawk from hand. That's a 2K counter. It's a 5K body. And it has a Dawn 1 when attacking, draw 2, trash 2. So it looked to me like maybe they were trying to use the Teach and then realized I don't have any rested Dawn. So then they did it. Now they can use their Teach effect. They're going to go 9 into 8 here. So at this point, a 2K would have got us out, except for they deployed the Boa Hancock from the top of their deck, which gives a rested Dawn to a leader or character of 7 Warlords. I do believe that's the wordage on it when it comes into play. So it's going to make it a 10. So we do have to use the 2 and the 1. Because we were going to commit to saving it, but it did cost us an extra card here. So here we're going to play the double strike ace. Gonna give it rush. Their blocker's rested. So we're gonna get some cards out of hand or they're gonna take 2 life. 8 into 5, double attack. And we still have an 8K swing and technically a 6K swing. If you guys are liking this gameplay content, make sure you guys like, subscribe, share the videos. We're trying to grow the channel. So they end up taking that hit, costing them the last 2 life. So now we're going to put that last Dawn on our Thatch. And we're going to go 9 into 5. This should pretty much empty their hand from counter for the most part. So they just got 4 cards in hand. We still have a 5K swing. We're going to... We were thinking here for a second, do we go for Jinbei? Because we don't know... We don't really think we can take this round. So we went after Jinbei here, forcing them to save it. Because it was more dire to try to clear their board. Yes, we were focusing mostly on their life. But now they have 5 swings without having to invest any Dawn in. Then they also have the Marshall D Teach if they wanted to go 13K after chipping through 5. But we do have a 2K counter in hand with Thatch, so if they don't invest too much Dawn, we can get out of the first hit. So here they're going to go 6 into 6 into that double strike. Looks like we want to save it to an extent. But they're using their effect for the filtering. They trash 2 Edward Weebles because those Edward Weebles don't have counter. So we are going to save this. The reason we try to save this, we want them to focus on the character instead of our life. So they did it. So I got 2 swings into that ace instead of us. So here Weeble, they're going to Dawn up some on the Weeble, making that an 8K. We have no cards in hand, so anything they swing at us, we have to, at face value, we have to take. There's no reason to overcommit. So here they went 8 into 8, using their leader effect, but it showed a Jozu, which stays on top of their deck. They did clear out the Thatch, and they must have misclicked to pass turn because they put Dawn on their Weevil, which is weird for me. So here I'm just debating about going in, all the way in, but remember they had a blocker. So I'm just going to put 3 on my leader here and go 8 to see if they have the counter in hand or they want to give me the blocker. Because that Fossa is only a 2-drop blocker, but we can give him rush. So worst case scenario, if they give up their blocker here, and if they don't give up the blocker, we just play out the block. If they don't give up their blocker, we'll just play out our blocker. Because we still have 5 life. So 8 to 5, they do give us the blocker. Now, if they give us counter out of hand, it's even better. So they let the blocker go. So here we're going to deploy the Fossa It is currently what is spot. So he's a 2K to start with. We gave it 5, making it a 7K swing. This was risky here. With 4 cards in hand, that's extremely risky. So 6, 7, 8. So they were able to counter out of this with 1 card left in hand and no life. We have 5 life still. And since blue doesn't really have rush outside of like a very select cards, but I don't believe the Dopey has any cards that they run with rush. So they're going to put 1 onto their Mihawk, go 6 into 2. They went into our blocker here. I mean, personally, I would have used the Marshall D Teach and swung into the blocker and used that 6 at me. So here's Jinbei 5 into 5. We have to take that. We get a 1K. So I do believe that was a slight misplay on the opponent's part. If they were trying to get rid of the fossil, they should have just used the Teach. And then that Mihawk could have came at me. So here's 10 into 5. That's way overcommitting. There's no reason to put that much on Dopey here when I have 1 card in hand. At most, I can go up to a 7. So if you would have put this your leader to 7K, that would have been a guaranteed hit as well. So here they deploy their boa. Now see the 6K. If I have 2 2Ks in hand, or even a 2 and a 1. So if I had a 2 and a 1, they wouldn't have been able to connect there. Alright, so here we get to 1 of Goldie Roger. It says if if you or your opponent have 0 life and your opponent tries to use blocker, you win the game. So we able to sneak that with a Goldie Roger. Make sure you guys are, if you guys are liking these videos, make sure you let me know in the comments. Like and share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.